Hi, I'm Kevin, and this is HFX by Bike, a channel all about getting around Halifax by bike. Getting to Rainbow Haven Beach in Cow Bay is one of my most frequently requested videos during the summer months. So popular that I already made a video about it last year. Unfortunately, the route that I took is pretty hectic and a little too spicy for most people, me included. But there may be a better way, an alternate route that should be a little bit quieter if all you're looking for is a relaxing day by the water. In today's video, I'll be exploring an alternate route to Rainbow Haven Beach that was washed out last year in some flooding. It's reopened, so I'm heading back to the beach. As always, I'll be playing a game of +1 -2 along the way. Every time I run into something that makes my trip safer or more convenient, I'll add a point, and every time I run into something that makes it less safe or less convenient, I'll take away 2 points. You can keep track of how I think the ride is going by looking at the heads-up display in the bottom right-hand corner. I'm starting out at Alderney Landing, and straight away I'll be using the Dartmouth Harbourwalk trail. The trail functions as a multi-use path, and that's going to keep me out of traffic as I start my trip and head east. This section is basically just a sidewalk. It's too narrow to accommodate both bikes and pedestrians at the same time. The crossing at King's Wharf is a forced dismount. Believe it or not, there used to be a physical barrier here that would force cyclists to dismount to cross the rail line, despite the fact that you've already crossed it twice just to get to this point. They've taken it out, which is a huge improvement to the trail. For some reason, this chicane is still here. Make it make sense. The city purchased this parking lot and blocked it off to make the trail continuous. This section was washed out in the flooding last summer, but it's been repaired. On the whole, the trail is mostly flat and well paved. It can be a bit winding in places, so you're probably not going to be going very fast, but it's not too bad. I'm leaving the trail, but this is just the ferry terminal parking lot, so it's not that big of a deal. No points off. There are more bikes than cars at this intersection. There's a smooth transition onto the Mount Hope multi-use path, which is going to function the same way as the trail, except that I'm going to be running alongside traffic. Placing utility poles on the path isn't great. There's a physical barrier next to the road, and the trail is actually on the right side of it. According to the city's bike map, the path is continuous across the intersections, so I should be okay to ride across, but the road markings suggest this isn't the case. It's important that things like road markings and signs along the bike network are standardized so that people know what they're supposed to be doing. This overpass is one of the few places where you can cross over the circumferential highway by bike. This is still a shared path, but it's designed the same way as a pedestrian crosswalk. I've already taken points off, but I still think it's weird and not great. There's a smooth transition onto the Baker's Drive multi-use path. This is the entrance to the Portland Lake Greenway. It seems to be closed, so I'm going to stop and check on my phone to see if that's intentional. There are people walking past the gate, and there's nothing listed on the city website as far as I can tell, so I guess I'll just go around. This is the Portland Lake Greenway, and it's going to function as, you guessed it, another multi-use path. Oops, missed my turn. The path continues for a bit further, but using it makes my route even more indirect than it already is, so I'm going to exit onto Portland Hills Drive, which is a major road. Ignoring the parking lot by the Woodside ferry terminal, I was consistently in bike infrastructure for 8.5 kilometers, so here are the bonus points. Something you don't see very often in the urban center is major roads like this one having traffic calming. There are some short multi-use paths that can be used to connect different parts of the neighborhood. I was on a major road for just a bit under 2 kilometers. Stopping to check my map because honestly everything out here kind of looks the same and the streets aren't really designed for easy navigation. This is Colby Drive, which is a major road again. I am lost again. The combination of the indirect pathing and the sparse bike infrastructure cutting through it. In this part of the city, Google Maps is sending me on a bit of a wild goose chase, trying to connect different parts of bike infrastructure that aren't really useful for this trip. So I'm just bouncing around different parts of Cole Harbour, and honestly, it's getting kind of annoying at this point. This is the Beset Lake Greenway. It's going to act as another multi-use path. My phone told me to go left, but I actually couldn't have gone right here and saved myself a bit of time. It goes to the same place that I was going anyways, just a bit more directly. Apparently this section of the path isn't on any of the mapping apps for some reason. This is the Cole Harbour Heritage Trail. It's another multi-use path. It's going to let me stay out of traffic as I move east. The trail is quite winding in a lot of places, which slows you down quite a bit. I was on the trail for about 2 kilometers, so here are the bonus points. This is BSET Road. It's going to take me the rest of the way from here, but it is still a major road. I was on BSET for about 2 kilometers. There's bike parking on site, but more importantly, there's a juice stand. My trip from downtown Dartmouth to Rainbow Haven Beach covered just over 20 kilometers and took a little bit over an hour. A non-trivial chunk of that time was spent checking my map. I was in one form of bike infrastructure or another for a little bit over half of it. When I was outside of the bike network, I was mostly on a combination of local streets and minor collector roads with middling levels of traffic. For this version of the trip, I went through Cole Harbour, and compared to last year, this one felt much safer. Anytime I have to head anywhere like Cow Bay or even Eastern Passage, I'm probably going to take some version of this route, as opposed to going along Pleasant Street and Woodside, because that did not feel safe at all. The only caveats I have to this approach are that it's quite a bit slower than going via Woodside, about 10 to 15 minutes slower. This comes down to the pathing being a bit more windy and less direct. On that note, if I were to make this trip again, there'd be some minor detours that I could probably knock out just to save a little bit of time. I don't think they make that much of a difference in terms of safety. That's it for this one. Let me know what kind of trips around the city you'd like to see covered, or local businesses that I should visit. And if you like this kind of thing, be sure to like the video and to subscribe to the channel. As always, thanks for watching, and see you at the beach.